everyone. I'm Katie Daryl, and today we are at home and social with the frontman of the Scorpions, Mr. Klaus Meine. How are you, Klaus?
Very good. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
I have to admit, I am a rock believer. I am.
That's cool.
I
Yeah,
do feel I love this. The new album by the Scorpions is called Rock Believer. The title track is also Rock Believer, and I think this is a sentiment we could all use now more than ever. Do you agree?
I agree 100% because being around for so many years, I think the Scorpions, we are the essence of rock believers, right? And making this album, it's we focus so much on the hard and heavy community, and saying, this is for all you rock believers out there. We heard so many times rock is dead because of hip hop, of grunge, alternative, rap, and whatsoever, but the reality is hard rock is very much alive, and there's a huge crowd out there. We can see it. We play the Hellfest in the summer in France, or here in Germany, the Wacken Festival, where the hard and heavy community is joining together every other year, so it's like a family thing. And yeah, this is dedicated to all the rock believers out there who love and enjoy this genre of music by heart.
And this album has everything that a rock believer would want. It's got great guitar riffs. It's got really catchy hooks. It's got great lyrics. It's got very strong melodies. Does it just come so naturally to you, Klaus, and the band? Do you guys just get together and it happens? Or do you find yourself hitting your head against the wall sometimes going, writer's block? Where is it? Where's our motivation?
I mean, when I started writing the lyrics, this was so different from all those years where I wrote the words to the music. This time I started with writing lyrics, and I sent them to Rudolf, who was in Thailand at the time. And it was like in the first song, Gas in the Tank, I said like, hey buddy, give me a dirty hook, my friend. There's gotta be some more gas in the tank, So it was like a dialogue, between us. And of course, he came back with many great riffs and songs. And I don't know, it's the thing is, after all these years, first of all, there's an empty piece of paper. So what you want to say? So what is this song about, And I just try to be a storyteller, going through different times along the way, different places, cities, This, for myself, I started to have something like a red line or a concept, And later on, I went to other places, but this is how I started. And when Rudolf came back with all those great riffs and songs, it turned out right away that this is going to be a great album, with all the typical elements, what our fans expect from the band, It has 100% the Scorpions DNA, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
We know it exists, in the songs, in the songwriting. And that's what we try to achieve, to follow that road and back to the good old 80s, Yeah, it's one thing to say, let's make an album like Blackout. It's impossible, really. But to put your mind and your spirit and make an album with the same kind of attitude and try to really focus on what's called the Scorpions DNA,
Mm-hmm.
that hopefully finds the right place, not only with us, but also with our fans, and we can share this album and find some songs we can put in our set list and come up with a brand new show. This was like when we focused ourselves making this record. And also, like here in this room, I'm in Peppermint Park Studio, Hanover, Germany, our hometown. We spent so much time in this place, and in the room behind me was a whole band together recording the songs and playing live. And so there was so much attitude, power, energy in this one room. And this is what makes the album different to start with,
For those of you just joining us, I'm Katie Daryl, and he is Klaus from the Scorpions. We are at home and social. And you mentioned that you recorded the new album, Rock Believer, in the studio that you're sitting in right now. But that wasn't the plan originally. You were supposed to record it in America, right?
That's right. That's right. And we met with Greg Fidelman, American producer who used to work with Slipknot and Metallica, around 2018 when we played Los Angeles the last time, I think. And so the plan was to come to LA, record the album there, and go to Las Vegas for a residency. We also booked some studio time in Vegas for the off days, you know, so it was a perfect plan. But unfortunately, the pandemic hit us pretty hard, and like all of us, had to change plans. And that means when we come back from the tour, early 2020, when we played in Australia, Southeast Asia, I think the last show was in Singapore in early March 2020. Since we had started writing in 2019, so there were like 20, 30 songs we could start to work with. So we had Greg joining us per Zoom every other day. We went through all the pre-production together, but then it came to a point where it was impossible to go on like this, because he wanted to be in the same room like the band and working together. And so we came to a point where it was like, should we stop right now and wait until the pandemic comes to an end, or until the travel restrictions will be lifted off and we can travel to America, or he could come over here to join us in Germany. So, or keep going, you know. And we decided at this point, we were so deep into the album, into the making of the album, we decided not to lose the momentum and keep going, just producing the album together with our engineer Hans-Martin Buff ourselves, just trusting on our own team, on our own people.
But in a way, wouldn't you say that recording it in Germany feels almost right? I mean, obviously, Germany loves the Scorpions. These are your people. I mean, your single "Wind of Change" is still the #1 best-selling single in Germany. So I feel like it's a perfect fit to record the music there locally, to give it that homegrown feel, right?
Yeah, you know, but you know what it's like, you know, it's always, since the Scorpions are traveling so much all over the world, you know, and so we feel at home in California as well. You know, we feel at home in many places around the world. And when it comes to touring and when it comes to recording, the funny thing is with Greg, at some point we said, you know, it's a long way to Germany, it's a long way to go to LA under these circumstances right now with the pandemic. Maybe we should meet halfway in Iceland. You know, but of course nobody was convinced really.
Yeah, right, exactly.
For that plan, you know. But what I want to say, of course, you're being at home and spending some time also, not only working in the studio, we were like in our own bubble, and we could close the door and leave the cruel reality, the reality of the worldwide pandemic outside. We were working, focusing on the new songs, on the music, and that was a blessing, you know, that we had something we could go for, you know, and forget the damn pandemic for a moment.
For those of you just joining us, we are at home and social with Klaus from the Scorpions. The new album is available February 25th. It is called Rock Believer. The title track is also Rock Believer, and it is everything you want out of just heavy, hard metal. It's fantastic. You did mention residency in Las Vegas. I want to talk about that. You're gearing up to head to Vegas for 2 months, right?
Yeah, we go to Vegas for 9 shows, starting at the 26th of March, you know, until the middle of April. And we're looking very much forward to that. You know, it's a new show, new production. And it's nice for a change that we don't have to travel every other day, waking up in every morning in different cities, right, different places, different countries and continents. So we stay for quite a while there. It's great for not only for the band, but also for the crews.
Well, the band has been, I mean, you've been doing this for 50 years. Being in one location and, like you said, waking up in the same bed for a couple of nights in a row
Yeah.
definitely feels good. But what is the live show like for you now? I mean, it's a little bit harder on the body after 50 years, right?
It's not harder on the body after 50 years. It's harder on the body after a 2 years break.
Ah, out of shape.
No, no, no. I know what you mean. You're right. But we never had a long break like this. And we know it's quite a challenge to go back on the same level playing shows like we used to, and it's 2.5 years ago by the time, or 2 years ago, by the time we will be back on the road. And this is something you have to work your body back to this level, especially for me being the singer, to have to get those little pipes ready to rock and ready to roll. And it's impossible to do it from one day to the other. You have to prepare yourself, and it goes for the whole band. And we had the first rehearsals here in the studio, playing the new set, putting new songs in the set list. And we will have more rehearsal days here in Peppermint Park before we go to the US, but you have to build it up yourself. But it will be different, but it will be also, especially going through this pandemic, for all of us, not only for the band, but also for the audience, for our fans. It will be very, very emotional. Finally, to come together, to enjoy a concert together, it will be different. It will be very emotional, I think.
You mentioned your pipes and getting them in shape. And some people may not know this about you, but in the 80s, you had a vocal crisis. You had to undergo several surgeries. You couldn't even speak at one point, and you got your voice back, and you were able to perform again, and you were able to stick with this profession. Does that still linger over you and, do you baby your voice? Do you baby your vocals knowing that you have that history? How does that affect your mental game?
It affected my mental game from the day one when my voice was back, because when you went through this experience, it's like, well, maybe not your life, but your life as a singer is on the line, and you don't know what the future brings. And fortunately, I had a cool band on my side. And when I offered them to look for a new singer, they said, no way. We wait until you can sing like a bird again, and so then you really appreciate when you're back, and when you're back on your feet, and when you're able to sing again, to play shows again, to make albums again. You never forget that moment. It's always there, and this is why after all these years, I appreciate so much being with the band, and we still do what we do. It means so much, and it's like back then from 82 until now, I'm probably on the longest encore of my life.
Well, it's an encore that involves a really great catalog of music. For those of you just joining us, I'm Katie Daryl. He is Klaus. We are talking about the Scorpions' newest album, available February 25th. It is called Rock Believer. The band will be having a residency in Las Vegas and then doing a European tour. And we got to talk about the hits. We got to go back to the past, man. Rock You Like a Hurricane is such an iconic and such an epic song, and you cannot go to a sporting event and not hear this song. What does it mean to you to have created one of the best sports anthems of all time?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, this song is being played everywhere in sports stadiums, events, especially in America, because I think that
we
song,
love it. We love it.
Yeah, because that song is such a strong hook line. I mean, it's a very powerful riff, but the words, here I am, rock you like a hurricane, it's so strong, and it's a perfect audience anthem, to sing along. And we still enjoy to play this song every other show, because everybody goes crazy, goes nuts. It's an all-time classic, and I mean, it's also totally 80s, you know, it's rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's every line in the lyrics is the experience and what we saw in the crazy 80s, being a young rock band going on the road and to discover America through the tour bus window. And there was a party everywhere,
Yeah.
every day and every night. And you had to try to stay on your feet, you know, and not lose yourself in the whole madness, you know. And but it was so much fun at the same time.
We talked about the 80s, then we get to the 90s. 90s Scorpions, not too shabby either. I mean, Wind of Change. Hello. One of the best songs featuring a whistling moment, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And I just did it because maybe if I was a guitar player, you know, like playing great guitar riffs, maybe I would have come up with a cool guitar lick, you know, but I didn't, and I never thought the whistle was such a big thing, you know. And I thought when I did this demo, the first demo, I thought it sounded pretty cool. And since John Lennon whistled on Jealous Guy, for example, so this was for me rock and roll as well, you know, not knowing so many diehard rockers would go, oh no, the whistle. And even the American record company wanted to edit the whistle out of the song when they released it as a single. And it was like, no way, you know, take it or leave it. And they released it in America. And I think it became a top 5 hit in the US as well.
And then also, I mean, that song brought along a lot of speculation, and a podcast was spawned out of the popularity of Wind of Change. People were saying that the CIA wrote it. You've already said that's not true. That is not true. Yet they are now moving forward with a television series about the possibility that the CIA wrote this song. How does that make you feel? That you've already told them it's not true.
No, it's not true. It's the same question I wanted to ask the guy who did the interview with me. Do you think you talk to a musician or are you talking to an agent?
Although I will say, you do have that cool look. I could take you as a spy.
Yeah, a spy, exactly. No, I mean, it cracked me up laughing, of course. But then I realized real fast that the guy was serious about it, you know. The question that I didn't write Wind of Change as the CIA did, you know. And when I realized he was serious, it was like, so how can you react to this, you know? And what I thought was like, if that would be true, it would only prove the power of music, right? And well, it's a crazy story. I mean, we were just celebrating 30 years of Wind of Change, of the iconic song. And at the end of the day, this gave the song so much extra promo around the world. And I guess everybody loved this podcast. And it was very well done, probably, you know. He saved the best for last, asking the writer of the song if that's true or not, you know. But, you know, I only could laugh about it and try to stay cool. Patrick Redden-Keefe, who made this podcast together, I think, on Spotify, he said later in interviews, Klaus was a good sport, you know.
Well, like you said, I mean, it goes down to the bad press is even good press, because those royalty checks when people download the song, those are nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the royalty checks, if they come to the writer, then the CIA, then the truth comes out.
Well, Klaus, thank you so much for speaking so honestly with us today. The new album from the Scorpions is available February 25th. It is called Rock Believer. The title track is also Rock Believer. A single before that, Peacemaker, also very rad. So if you are looking for some new music, this is definitely something we recommend here. And enjoy your residency in Las Vegas. It's going to be pretty awesome. Do you play
Thank you
the
so much.
slots? Do you
Thank you
gamble?
so much, Katie. No, not really. No, I'm not the gambling guy. But I know a lot of folks will come to Vegas to see the show and go gambling, have a good time. And I can't wait to see our fans in the US and come to Vegas and we'll rock you guys like a hurricane again. Of course.
Hey there, thanks for watching Access TV. Subscribe, follow, like, and do all the good stuff. And make sure you leave a comment below. I don't know, just let us know what your favorite Access TV show is, or who your favorite bands are, and what artists you're into, or just say hi, man. I like to be told hi. We love hearing from you. That's the point, all right? Keep it coming.